Okay, so for the next part of this video, we will be making the nose that goes right there and the hat. So you will be needing your stitch marker, your crochet hook, your darning needle, your flesh colored yarn, and then your hat color yarn. I'm using red sparkle, and then a little pink for the edge of my hat. Okay, so I'm going to move my little bowling pin creature, put it up there on the shelf. For the nose, this is going to be tight crocheting, friends. Again, we're starting with your magic circle. Go under. You remember I make this like X on my hand. I go under the first. I snatch up that yarn with my hook. I twist it, and then you come over here. I jam my fingers into there. Wait, I have to get that. Look at here. I have something happening. I have a snarl. Okay. Let's start again with my magic ring. Magic circle, magic ring. I don't know what it's called. Okay. Get under that cross, that twist, come up. Get your yarn coming out to the left. Get your fingers jammed into that hole. Get it in there. Okay. Chain one. And for this part, for the nose, you are going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now, if you've done everything right, you can pull this. I don't pull too tight right away because I still want to be able to get into this stitch. Now I am going to get into here, and I'm going to do 2 stitches in each. For this part, I generally don't use a stitch marker because I find it small and fumbly, but I just rely on my counting, which if you watch part 1, probably is not the best thing to do, right? But I do. Okay, so we're going to do 2 single crochets for round 2 in each stitch. So that's 1, 2. Now, you've got to try, in my humble opinion, to curve away. It's going to try to curve in, but it's a better looking nose. 3, 4. So as you're working, kind of push it so it goes like this. 5, 6. See that? 7. Oops, I bumped the camera with my hook. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now this is where you come in. You give your nose a tight squeeze, close up its nostril. I'm actually going to do something I'll show you to kind of make that hole even smaller. So pull that as tight as you can. Don't cut it. Leave your inside of your nose hanging right down there. Now for the next round, you're just going to single crochet into each stitch all the way around. So for 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks big, don't worry. 5, 6, 7. Oops, get out of the way. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, pull that up, pull this down, and then kind of hold it like this. Squeeze it down. This is the nose hole. What I like to do is, remember, I left a little tail for sewing hanging on him, so you don't have to leave too long of a tail. It's just a small nose. So cut that with your bird scissors, if you have any. Put it too far away. I'm trying to keep everything out of frame, but close by, okay? And so then I pull this stitch Whoops, I knocked over my gnome body. Stand up, fella. Get in there. Okay. And then I give it a little tug. Now get your darning needle. Okay. Where did I put mine? Take this one right out of here. I'm going to pause this video and get situated here, okay? And then we'll get started on the nose. All right, so what I want to show you to do for the nose is, besides pulling this tight, is I like to take the needle and kind of fill in a few of these gaps with the needle and thread, just to make his nose look a little fuller and tightening up. Oh, look at that. It got caught on here. And just tightening up the cinched area for the nose so he doesn't have a big hole in the middle of his nose. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little tug, see what it's looking like. And then there's one more thing I want to show you before we put the nose down. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to tuck this in here. Then I come over here and to where I pulled out my stitch. It's still attached. And put my needle on this side. This is what I'm doing to kind of give my nose a more tight look. Okay. Get it on there. Well, split the yarn. Okay. So I come over here and I just go in and out through these stitches. Kind of like if you're going to cinch the hat. Now I don't have these in the direction for the nose on my written pattern because this is just, to me, finishing details. I don't know. And I don't know necessarily how I would type this up. This is just like a little trick. I don't remember where I learned it to give absolute 100% credit to that. Whoever, because I watch so many amigurumi videos. Okay, so what it does when you do this, I probably should come over here, is it gives you the ability to make the nose a little more fuller, closed up, if you will, rounder looking. See that? And now you can start attaching this to the gnome. Jam that in there. You have an end for sewing on, and then also there is a string hanging from your gnome's body to sew that on. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, that is the nose. Now we're going to get ready for the hat. Okay, so the next part of the hat, as my yarn is hanging down here and I'm swinging in here, I am going to start from working in rows to rounds. And the reason I do this is because I have a hard time lining up my chains and making it so that it does not twist. So for this first part, you're going to chain 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, whoops, get that better, that's number 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Okay. Now, this is going to go around your gnome's head. If you want to measure it to see if it fits around, this is what we're using. Now, typically for these patterns, you join them like this. And I always end up with it twisted. So this is my cheater way of doing this. Let's get some more yarn. You are going to start single crocheting in the second chain from the hook. This is the one on the hook. This is the first one from the hook. This is the second one from the hook. Sometimes when I'm overthinking things, I get confused. Single crochet all the way across, and because you went to the second chain from the hook, it should be 30 single crochets. Okay. I'm not counting them. If you would like to, you can pause the video and count them. Whatever. Meet me at the end. It's a twisty little guy. Sit on over there, buddy. Now this is the one part of the metallic yarns that I don't like. If you don't pull all the way through the metallic yarn, you end up with the metallic part still on your hook, right? And it can end up knotting. You got to pay good attention to that. I like the look of the metallic yarns. Oh boy, do I ever. But I will tell you, if you're not careful, you end up with a little metallic strand hanging on the back of your hook. Come on, friend. This is I always personally feel like this is the hardest part of crocheting, is this when you're crocheting into your chain. You always got to manage. Don't have a lot to hold on to. You have to manage. Okay, we're almost there to our 30 stitches. And then we're going to start, we'll move this from rows to rounds. Okay, I did that again. I was watching back my video from making the head to body, and I say that, okay. I never knew it until I heard myself doing it. That's one of the horrors of making videos. Okay, here we are. Ready? So now we are going to wrap this all the way around, and we are going to single crochet into this stitch. You've got a lot to manage here. You got to get your end down here. You got to insert your hook into the beginning single crochet, and you're going to single crochet right into it. Get your stitch marker. This is going to be that exciting part. I'm going to show you guys one more time, I think, just to make sure you see it. Okay. We just single crocheted into the last part. See that? The last stitch. We hit our 30. Here's our knot. We're going to stretch, make sure it's nice and straight all the way around, and you're going to insert your hook under this stitch just like normal, and you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. This now is your first stitch of your round. On my pattern, I wrote this as row to round. It says join with a single crochet to the end of your work, make a circle, you're now crocheting in the round. Bada bing, bada boom. That was row to round. Now round 2. Now if you want to, before we do that, sometimes you see you're going to have to do a little bit of work here, because you have your first row not joined. Now, unless of course you are very good at joining these and you don't need to do what I just did, you could do it your way. But now I just like to pull this through right here. And then when I come to sewing my hat on, or doing my rim to the hat, I'm just gonna crochet over this tail and tuck it in there. And you'll never know that I did not do a joining single chain. Okay, see right there? Now round 2, 3, 4, and 5 is just single crocheting all the way around. Okay, let's do one together. Get that tail down. And we just did one single crochet right there to our join. That's our first stitch. So this is 2, 3, 4, put that down, 5, 6, look at that business getting up in there, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's going great, 11, 12, whoops, get over there, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, whoops, that one came all the way off. Get back on there, number 22. Look at that, I didn't get my metallic on there. There you go. 23, 24, 25, 26. This part I always get nervous. Did I count right? Did I not? We'll find out. 27, 28, 29, and 30. Praise the Lord, I did it. Okay, so now you are going to start round 3, and you just take out your stitch marker, go into your first stitch, round 1, single crochet. We're starting round 2, mark your first stitch, here's Ireland, and then you're going to go around for another 30. You're going to do that for a round, like I just said, we're just starting round 3, round 4, and round 5. When I finish this, I'm gonna merge the videos right together. You might want to pause the video because the next part will be with the decrease of round 6. So this is round 3's 30 stitches. Then you have round 4's 30 stitches, and then you have round 5's 30 stitches. This is what I do to help keep myself track. I'll go over here and let's say I'll write 3, 4, and 5. And after I'm done crocheting row 3 and I take out my stitch marker, I cross it off. Then I crochet round 4. I do my 30 stitches, take out my stitch marker, cross off round 4, get ready to start round 5. And that's how I keep track. See that? I do that up there. I did that one time here. I did tallies and I crossed them off. Here I just wrote them. This is how I came up with my stitch count for decreases. Look at all that. Okay, so on the next time this video is going to come up together with what to do for round 6. Okay, so after I finished up to completed round 5 and I'm ready for round 6, I decided to put this hat on the gnome just to see how it was fitting. To make sure that I didn't overstuff his head and it was too tight, because even though I made this specifically for this guy, if I overstuffed his head, it might not fit. So you might want to do that just to make sure before you get too far, and then you try to jam this on his little noggin and it doesn't fit. Okay, so mine works great. I'm going to take him back, put him over there, and we're going to get ready for round 6. And round 6 is the first round of decrease. Now on the written pattern, I wrote it a little different this time because on each round you're only doing 2 decrease stitches, because I want this hat to have a gradual decrease, and be a point, not rounded in a circle. And it says here, for round 6, you're going to single crochet 2 stitches together, and then you're going to do 13 stitches. So remember, I'm going to start with my decrease right away. I like to do my decreases coming up into the first loop. And there is 2 together. I'm going to put Ireland back here. And then I'm going to quick grab one more stitch marker. And I'll show you when we use that. This one I got from Karen from Happiness Homemade. Okay, now I'm going to do 13 single crochets. So let's just go along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, now the reason I have the next stitch marker, and it is, as you can see, different, Ireland's always the front, is that I'm going to do the next decrease. There it is. Yarn over in those front loops. And then I'm going to mark this decrease. I just like to have an idea of where it is when I'm coming along. So I essentially will have my front decrease marked and my back decrease marked. And now I'm going to go for another 13. I would say personally, if you are going to do the double stitch marker situation like I am, you should have 2 different ones so that you always remember which one is your starting stitch marker. And that's like why I said mine is Ireland, and then the other one from Karen is just my second decrease. So I'm coming along here for 13 single crochets, and we are going to get ready for the next round. For round 7, it's just single crochet all the way around. So I'm going to remove my starting stitch marker, put it in, put it back right where I am so I remember that's my starting round, and then I'm just going to single crochet all the way around. This should be 28 stitches for obviously that first row decrease. And now because we're just, oh look at that, I didn't pull all the way through. Do you see that? There we go. Sometimes the metallic gets stuck on there, and that's when, if you have any mistakes and you want to frog it out and it gets caught up on itself because that metallic strand. So we're going around just 1 single crochet in every stitch. And then I am going to keep this stitch marker here where I have my middle decrease. I'm going to take this one out, put in my back middle, and then put it back in. If you don't, you don't have to do that step. Just for me, I split my yarn there. I like to have an eye on where the next decrease is going to go, and that way, if I've messed up my stitch count and I come along and I see that I've missed it, I don't have as much to rip out. I kind of know ahead of time. It's like a warning, like, wow, lady, you're way off. If that makes sense to you guys. You don't have to have that one. Okay, we're coming up to the end of this round 7, with 28 stitches. And our next round, round 8, is going to be a decrease round. Wait a second, let's see. Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm in the, yes. Okay, so this decrease is going to be very similar to what the other one is. So we're going to do single crochet together right away, and then we're going to do 12 stitches. So I go through my front loops for my decrease, yarn over, pull through, and then I'm going to mark this. And now I'm going to do 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, we came up perfect. These are the 2 that I'm going to snatch up together for the decrease. This is your 2 decrease. Pull through. There's your decrease stitch. Mark your decrease. And now you're going to make it another 12 stitches You've got to make sure that you are, I'm trying to see, not going in your previous stitch. You see what we have here? What I'm going to show you is something that will mess up your stitch count if you're not careful. You got to double check to make sure this is the next stitch and not the loop from the previous decrease, you know what I mean? So that you don't end up, sometimes I have done that. Okay. Sometimes I've done that and I ended up doing 2 stitches. So let's get this back. This is the decrease. This is the next stitch that I'm going to go into. So let's get that back in. And so anyway, if you're not paying attention to which stitch you're putting your hook in after the decrease, you end up doing you do a decrease and then you do another one right in that same hook, that spot. Almost defeats the purpose of a decrease. So now we're doing 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, get all the way through there, 11, and 12. There we did. We came right back to Ireland. Now this next row, row number 9, is just single crochet in each stitch. So it's an easy one. We should be at 26 stitches from the just our little bit of decrease. And so you're going to single crochet in each stitch all the way around. I will meet you back at our main stitch marker. Now remember, if you have this one back here marking where your decreases go, just come to it, crochet over it, put it right back in, and move around until you get back to your main starting one. So now we've just completed the single crochet all the way around for round 9. Now for the next round, we are going to decrease every round. We are not going to have a row of single crochets. And part of the reason why I did this is I wanted to make sure this bottom part was big enough to go over the gnome's head. And the top part, it doesn't really matter because he does not have a tall pointy head, right? Okay, so for round 10, we're going to follow that same decrease pattern that we had been doing, where you decrease for the first stitch. Get it in there. I can't even express to you how much harder it is to crochet looking through the camera than it is just holding it in your hands. So there you go, decrease the first stitch. And then we're going to single crochet into, oops, I threw Ireland. Sorry, everyone. We're going to do 11 single crochets and then decrease again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now we're going to decrease 2. Take out my halfway mark of decreasing. And then I'm going to label this again a decrease. And then we're going to go back for 11 more stitches. 1 of single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Yay, we made it back to the middle. Round 11 is again decreasing 2 stitches and then 10 stitches. Okay, I'm going to turn off let's do our first decrease. and mark that, and then 10 decreases, and then I'll meet you back, or 10, not 10 decreases, friends, 10 single crochets, and then I will meet you back when we're ready to do the next decrease. That was 3 single crochets. Okay, so we're going to do round 11. Round 11 is the same except for a little bit decreased here. We're going to start with a decrease stitch. That's where you do 2 single crochet 2 together. And then we are going to do 10 single crochets. So put our stitch marker there. I just started with my decrease. And then 10 crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I'm taking out, this is not my, remember this is my half marker. This is another decrease where I do 2 stitches together. I'm going to mark that and then do another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, round 12 is a decrease and then 9 single crochet. So I'll get my beginning stitch marker out. I will get ready for the decrease where I am crocheting 2 stitches together. Put my stitch marker back in to mark the beginning of that round, and then we're going to do 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Crochet 2 together at the halfway point. There you go. And then we are going to do another 9 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Our next round 13, we're going to single crochet 2 together. Whew, I almost had that. 1, 2. Put my starting stitch mark back in. It's hooked on itself. Okay, and then we're going to do 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're at the back half where we're going to do another decrease. put in my halfway marker. I don't know that I have to do this, but I just like to make sure I keep it on there. I guess, I don't know, I just do it. And then we get another 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We are now ready for round 14, where we start with single crochet 2 together, mark my stitch, and then it's going to be 7 single crochets until we're at the next decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 at our halfway decrease. It's getting small and fiddly. 1, 2, 3, and then 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we are at Ireland, so we're at the next round, which is round 15, where we crochet 2 together. And now we are going to do 6 single crochets until the next decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Remove your half point crochet marker, stitch marker, double crochet 2 together, put your half marker in, and then do 6, hopefully, if I can remember my numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, 6. Okay, the next round, round 16, is a decrease by 2 right away. And put in that stitch marker to represent the beginning of your round. And then we're going to do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then a decrease. 1, 2 stitches together, put back on my halfway point, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, the next round is round 17. We're going to take out our starting stitch marker, join 2 together. There's the 2. Now they're together. Put on the stitch marker. And now we're going to do 4 before we come to the halfway point. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to crochet 2 together. Get on over there. I'll tell you. Get our 2 together. 1, 2. My stitch got a little loose, so I gotta tighten it. Mark that. And then we are, get in there. And then 4. Where are you? I'll tell you, this is small. Okay, we're almost there. Get your finger in there, lady. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now this next round is a complete decrease from 6 stitches or 12 stitches, hopefully to 6, because we're going to single crochet 2 stitches around. So that's all we're going to do for this round. So these first 2 stitches get stuck together. Get in there, buddy. So that's 1. I'm going to mark this stitch. That was 2 together. Please go on. Yep. Then we're going to do another 2 together. There we go. So that was 2. To do these next 2, I'm going to take out my half marker. I'm not going to use it anymore. Sorry, buddy. I just threw you like that, but we don't need you. So we're on to 3 with these 2 together. Get all the way through. And then here's another 2. Four. And then here's the last 2, hopefully. Nope. I don't know. I may be messed up here. I'm just doing 2 together. And then what do we got here? Oh yeah, here are the last 2 together. That was 5 and here's 6. Let's get that out. Because after that, we're not gonna get these last 2. I have stitch markers in my way. There we go. 1, 2. Now for the next and final round, you'll be joining. I'm gonna have to shut off my camera. I had some camera issues happening. You're gonna come right to the very last thing to do with this hat. Okay? Okay. So I just had some issues with my camera telling me my memory was full, so I had to do some deleting. We are now going to just do one more decrease to make it a little bit smaller. Get through those 2 stitches. It's tight, that's why we're only going to do one more. And then we're going to try to like sew up the top of it. Get on there, buddy. Hopefully yours is going on much smoother than mine. There we go. Whew. Pull through the 2, pull through the 2. Now, I pull that up, just a mount like that. We're not going to need a lot for sewing. For this guy, I'm just going to tuck the remnants in his hat. So I finished off. I'll get a darning needle because I want to clean up the top of his hat a little bit. And then we're just going to tuck it in there. So pull our stitch, come on over here, and just poking it through to tighten up that last loop like that. See that? That's all you do. Then I go right down into here, into the inside of his hat. Pull it down. There we go. This is the hat. Get in there. I just leave those bits in there, honestly. And so this is the gnome's hat. Now the next part that we're going to do for the gnome's hat is we're going to grab some pink or whichever color you want to do for your brim. And I've also seen some people do something super cute where they use a faux fur. Okay, but I don't have any of that. And so what I'm going to do is I just stick my hook in any stitch. And this is called, let's get up to my pattern here that I'm reading from. Round, possibly if you want round 20, I just put join pink yarn to the brim of the hat, and we're going to crab stitch around. So I put both my stitches here under, or my hook under both stitches, no more of this front loop shenanigans. And then I pull through. However you prefer to join stitches. I know Bella Coco likes to do a standing. Look at that, and I just messed it up. It came right out because I pulled too hard. Let's get it back in there. There we go, back under. I guess I'm going to make mine a little longer. And then I'm going to crochet over my ends for this, because we're doing the crab stitch. Now, the crab stitch is essentially the single crochet, but backwards. So instead of going this way all the way around, we are going to go backwards. Some people call this the crab stitch. Some call it a backward single crochet. So I chained one. I'm coming into this stitch right here behind it. You do a little twisting, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have two, pull through two. You see that? It's a single crochet, but backwards. And it makes this naughty little brim. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. And you see how I'm holding this yarn here so that I'm crocheting over it. Put your stitch, twist it backwards, go through your stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. This is the crab stitch. It's a little awkward at first. The reason why I like this stitch is you can use it to straighten out a blanket if you have one that tends to be curling. Also, it gives it a little bit more texture. And I thought, you know what? I think this will look cute as a brim of a hat. And it gives it a little bit more. And again, I'm just holding my other yarn so that I can crochet over it. I'm almost done doing that. Not that you could go on forever, but I just feel like there's no need to. I'm just going to tuck that into the hat, because when you sew this hat onto your little guy, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is all the way around. This is what your brim is looking like. And then that is essentially the end of the hat after you get back in there. I said I was going to stop crocheting over you, and it just kept coming up. I also need to pull this down now. This is it for the hat. I'm going to stop the video. I'll come back on when I've made it all the way around, just like you, to show you how to finish off. Okay? And let's quick look, see how it's going. I'm about halfway. All right, I'll see you in a second. Here's my last stitch for my crab stitch. And then I'm just going to pull this up like this. Maybe this is like 7 inches. I don't know. I just pull it up until I'm done. And then I'm going to cut it. These scissors have lost their sharpness because my daughter likes to borrow them. I'm going to get my darning needle and sew the hat one stitch, if you will, because the next of this tail I'm going to use to sew on to the gnome. Get on there. I'm having a lot of problems today, as you guys can see in this video. Okay. Get in there. And I'm only going to do this to hide this little join. So I'm coming over with my stitch around and through here. I'm not going to completely finish off because And I'm just going to do it again around the edge because I need this to sew onto my gnome. Now, we're going to do that in the assembly. For right now, we're tucking all our ends. The first pink end, the end from the red sparkle where you finished off, and the one from when you did up here that's been shoved up in his hat. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and finish all those off. That's for you to decide. I am not going to. I just tuck them all up. I like to put this right here, right down like this, so you can just see, oh, yep, it fits. Tuck it down to cover his head join. There he looks like this. La, la, la. And if you wanted to right now, you know what you're doing, go ahead, you can sew his hat on, but I'm going to leave that for the assembly video, okay? So right now I'm just putting it on him. I'm leaving the tail dangle, and I'm going to prop him up right over here. You can sort of see him looking beautiful. I'll pull back so you can see him. And the next video is going to be arms and legs. So there he is, sitting there with my little supplies, and there's the finished friend right there. Okay, thank you. This is the end of part 2 of 4. The next video will be part 3, arms and legs of the Lovable Valentine Gnome. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.